Hi,
Hey.
everyone.
How are you?
Hey, so thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. I am Jamie Weiland. This is
Dr. Cullyn Consales.
and we get to come to you guys every week at the same time. We meet up at 5:30 right here to answer any questions that you guys have. We typically pick a topic, but we are open to suggestions on things that you would like us to talk about. And if you haven't been with us before, our conversations typically go like, I ask Dr. C all kinds of questions that I feel like us normal people who don't have our doctorate degrees are struggling with in society, being faced with all kinds of goodies that are bad for us and just trying to figure some things out. And Dr. C then tells us, what we shouldn't be doing, how to better care for ourselves and our families. And I want to say it's really nice doing these with you guys because if any of you know me, I can be reluctant to some of the changes that I know I need to make to feel better. So I am with you guys. I get you sugar addicts. I'm with you. I am struggling through this sugar addiction, right? Yes.
You're doing a good job battling and overcoming it.
I am. So the one thing I have decided is that I'm not quitting. Whether I fail at a certain meals or certain days.
Not quitting.
I'm not quitting.
The fight.
The fight,
The
yes.
fight, okay.
I'm quitting sugar. I am not quitting the fight to give it up. It will happen. How slowly or fast that happens is another.
But it will happen.
It's going to happen. So tonight I'm super excited because you're totally unprepared for tonight.
I am. I was rushing around to finish up paperwork and get Dr. Sarah settled in up front for a big class. We have 12 people tonight there.
Which is super exciting. So, right, we have this class.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday. And I gotta tell you guys, listen how cool this is. He and the other doctor, Dr. Sarah Vivona, they take turns teaching a class. First of all, I'm just awesome, right, that a doctor is gonna teach the class and not expect somebody else to. Super cool.
Don't charge anything for it.
Totally free class. Not only do you not charge, you give a discount for people who come.
Yep.
I love that. And it's a huge, substantial discount too. It's just absolutely wonderful. So yeah, she's out there teaching a class. So next week you'll be teaching.
I will.
And we used to only be able to fit 7 people in that class. And we're now at 11, 12 capacity.
Yeah, because of Jamie's wonderful idea of moving the screen to the other side of the room.
He did such a good job at hiring me. So, so we get, thank you. Yes, thank you. Did you see the heart?
I saw it, yeah.
He's my boss too, so I have to give myself some props here and there. So it's super cool that we can have more of you guys come and enjoy that class for free. So that's super awesome. And so tonight, we've been running around like crazy today, and he hasn't had much time to prepare. So it's cool you guys are going to get them off the cuff. If you guys have any questions, send them, just give us a shout out. Let us know. I'm going to be watching on my phone for any comments that you guys might have. In the meantime, we're going to just dive into some myths that we're always being told that we don't really know if there's any truths to.
Maybe they aren't myths.
Maybe not. I think some of them are.
Okay.
Some of them I just threw in there because I wanted to know. They might not even be myths. They might just be my own personal questions. Who knows? But if you guys have your own personal questions, it doesn't have to be a myth. You can put them on the spot. He's really good on the cuff. So actually we'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out.
All right. Here's a big one. Can you get sick simply by being out in the cold?
Yes and no. How's that?
Oh, great. Next
Yeah.
question.
So whenever the weather changes, so stress, we're dealing with stress. You have 3 primary stresses on your body. You have structural, chemical, and mental and emotional. Weather and temperature is also a stress. So heat can be a stress, or cold can be a stress, and the shift from hot to cold can also be a stress. So what I tell people all the time is whenever you have an increased amount of stress, your body has a threshold, and once it goes above that threshold, you can develop a symptom where the body becomes weaker and it can't fend off an infection. So whenever the weather shifts, that's an additional stress put on the body. And then you can be more susceptible depending on where you are on your level of accumulative stress. If you're close to the threshold, you may, get that particular, if you're exposed to something, you may get it. But if you're below the threshold, and you're able to do many things, that we talk about during these, these go lives, if you do those and work to reduce the amount of stress from those three primary stressors, then you're less likely to become sick. So if you're exposed to temperature changes and you already have an elevated stress level, it just bumps you up above, weakens your system, and you're more susceptible to getting sick.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this from a mom standpoint, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you're a guy, so you were a boy one time, and boys do not like to wear jackets.
No.
They just don't. So, do I make him wear a coat? When he's going out to play soccer and gonna get all sweaty and hot, do I make him wear that coat because he's gonna get sick?
What I do is I try to, like personally, and I still do this, I try to resist wearing a coat as long as I can. And I try to, the reason is because I want my body to get acclimated to the temperature changes. So I want it to get used to that. So there's a gradual shift, unless it snows tomorrow, I'll wear a jacket. But if there's, that's the purpose of a gradual change in a season, because you're gradually getting your body used to that temperature change, and then it gets cold in wintertime. So I try to stick with wearing the least amount that I can to get used to it, so that whenever I'm not freezing all winter, and I'm less likely, because my body's gradually made that shift into the change, and they're physiological changes that keep your body, your body's temperature regulated better, and that's less of a stress when you do it that way. But then if you're always bundled up and you're always going from like a 80-degree house and then into a 30-degree weather, that's a major step in the stress level. That's a major shift in the amount of exposure that your body's exposed to as far as the temperature goes.
Okay.
See what I'm trying to say?
I've been doing it wrong. I keep making him wear a coat. All right. Here we go. Do you have to wait 30 minutes to swim after eating?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
It's best to wait, and even running and exercising 30 to 45 minutes, because whenever you're digesting your food, your blood goes to your digestive tract to digest, break down things, and then pull that nutrients out and put it into your system. But whenever you say you go to exercise, that blood then needs to go out into the muscles. So you're more likely to get cramps and not digest your food properly if you start running around immediately after you eat.
So I gotta say, I looked these questions up, and I could find things on Google to defend both sides, One of the coolest things, I was surprised about the coat thing and the natural changes, because sometimes these are the things where I go, oh my gosh, that's so cool, and he's going, what's so cool about that? Because he's just so used to it, but it's that nature naturally just goes with the flow of how you're trying to treat us.
Yeah.
And to me, sometimes the things that nature is doing is just maybe a nuisance that I have to go buy different clothes or things like that, but there's really a transition happening in our bodies.
Absolutely.
Along with that.
Yep, and it needs to happen.
It's just the coolest thing to me that you respect that, because I never think of it as a combination of my wellness and what's happening in nature.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's very cool. And they're random, guys. There's no order for these, because now I'm going to ask a breastfeeding question.
Okay.
So the myth is, breastfeeding women should drink 1 beer a day.
What?
Yes. I guess this is a myth, right? 1 beer a day because it makes their milk sweeter.
No. Just don't do it. If you're breastfeeding, try to eat as healthy as you can. Stay away from alcohol. It's truly not helping you. And even the new research that's coming out, typically that research in the past, 1 drink a day is great for you. Guess who funds it? Alcohol companies, And it was interesting because Budweiser actually put $3 billion into this one research study, and they wanted to prove that 1 or more alcoholic beverages were good for you, beers were good for you per day, and they began to realize that it wasn't true halfway through the study. They found the opposite, and they figured their losses, and they just exited the study. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, just stay away from alcohol as best you can. Every once in a while it's fine, but not every day.
Okay. This one might be a long one. Is there good and bad cholesterol?
No. All cholesterol's good.
Did you just say all cholesterol's good?
Yeah.
Don't you have heart attacks from high cholesterol?
You have heart attacks from cholesterol being impacted on your arteries. So what happens is whenever you have inflammation in your body, inflammation in your arteries, I should say, inflammation is kind of like putting little nicks or cuts. That's essentially what happens, little tears in your arterial walls, in your arteries. So if you think about it, your heart, they're high pressure arteries that are under a lot of pressure, especially very close to the heart. So if you have inflammation in those arteries caused by either elevated blood sugar levels, so sugar will cause the inflammation, an infection or toxin flowing through the body, those little nicks are formed, and the body knows, it's smart, it's extremely smart, it wants to patch that as quickly as it can so that you don't tear or rupture one of those arteries. And the stickiest thing available floating around the bloodstream is cholesterol. So cholesterol, and the more inflammation you have, the more cuts are put on, and the more cholesterol is packed in. So that's what creates the blockages. So cholesterol is secondary to inflammation. Cholesterol on the arteries is secondary to inflammation. So good and bad cholesterol, that's a complete myth, because all cholesterol is good. Cholesterol is only bad if it's 290 or above. And that's what was shown in cultures who eat the way that they're meant to eat, humans who have been eating the way that humans are meant to eat since the beginning of time. So since the beginning of their cultures developed. So we're not talking about industrialized cultures, okay? So they're eating naturally. And their cholesterol levels were a little bit higher. So if you get below 180, you start to lose brain function, because 30% of your brain is made of cholesterol or fat. And then HDL and LDL, they say that HDL is good cholesterol just because, and LDL is bad. There are reasons for that, but HDL, it's high density lipoprotein, so you're talking about the protein, not the cholesterol itself. Cholesterol is cholesterol. So the protein, it's like the boat that's carrying the cholesterol. From the liver into the tissue is LDL, so they say that's bad because it's going into the tissues. Cholesterol's going out. And then HDL, they say it's good because it's carrying cholesterol from the tissues into the liver. But that's completely false. It's just a carrying mechanism, and they find LDLs impacted in the arteries because they are the smallest carrier proteins, and they're patching up the smallest little nicks. So that's where they find them. So they say it's bad. It's truly not. Cholesterol is needed for every organ in your body, and it's the base chemical that's needed for hormone production.
So how do I not get nicks?
So you have to get rid of inflammation. So decrease sugar. Don't allow blood sugar levels to spike. And then you want to make sure that you don't have any ongoing chronic infections in the body. And you're detoxifying, so you're trying to avoid exposure to toxins. And when you are, you want to do detoxification every once in a while to get those toxins out so the inflammation decreases.
So, I mean, I've been in pain, as we know,
Yeah.
right? So obviously I have...
So there's inflammation in different areas of the body, though, too.
Okay.
But like a global systemic inflammation.
Okay.
So yours is, and as everyone knows, that's why I'm saying it's like low back, right?
Right.
So we're talking about whole body inflammation.
Okay.
So you can have pain and inflammation in a joint in an area, but you want to avoid what's going to cause global inflammation, which is going to be chronic infection, sugar, and then exposure to heavy metals or chemicals floating around the system.
So in case any of you don't know, I'm sorry to tell you, but carbs turn into sugar. I'm just going to be the bearer of bad news and let you know that. Okay. So, moving on, another one is just kind of sticking with that for them there. Are egg yolks bad for you?
No, they're good for you. They're the best part.
I agree.
Yeah, because they're higher in good quality fats and cholesterol.
So does it matter then if I do organic eggs?
It's extremely important to do the best quality eggs that you can find, because you're consuming what that chicken was consuming. And if it was out in the sun, you want to get pasture-raised chickens. So eggs from pasture-raised chickens. So those are chickens that are outside eating bugs. And organic,
You just
or-
said
or
I'm gonna
natural
re-eat
doesn't-
what they eat, and they eat bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So proteins, and they're out in the they're out in the sunshine, so they're going to they're going to be very high in vitamin A, D, and K, which are extremely important. So everyone's like vitamin D deficient. One of the main reasons is, one, they tell us not to go into the sun, and then two, they tell us not to eat fat, and fat's needed to absorb vitamin D. And it's also needed whenever we eat fat from animals that have been in the sunshine. That's another source of vitamin D. So they're telling us the wrong things. They're telling us things to make us vitamin D deficient.
Okay. Okay, on to this egg thing, because I just saw a commercial where they're giving chickens oregano as an antibiotic, to help them, right? So,
Yeah.
so it's like a natural thing. And I've heard a lot of people that are taking an oregano pill as an herb once a day to increase their immunity.
So I wouldn't do that. The reason is, oregano, we find it helps a lot with viral infections, but what it does is it also will eliminate your good bacteria in your digestive tract. So it'll also kill off bacteria, but it'll start to mess up with your gut flora, and you don't want to do that too much. If you're sick and you can't get anywhere to someone that knows what they're doing, you feel that it could be a viral infection, which will be more like it'll be faster onset, and you could get fever, chills, and clear mucus. That's typically symptoms of a virus. Then try some oregano. It may help you out. I like the idea of doing it with chickens though, because right now the FDA told them they can't pump them full of antibiotics or feed them antibiotics. So now what they're doing is they're putting arsenic in their food as an antibiotic. So now we're consuming the chicken and we're getting arsenic in our system, which is extremely toxic. So you want to find good farmers, local farmers that are raising animals the correct way.
We got some eggs today, by the way.
Yes, from one of my patients. Yep.
So exciting. You have like the best patients.
Yes, they're very good. Very, very good. I appreciate my patients, 100%.
Yes. So we have, he has patients, and I'm so blessed because I just get to
suck it all up.
just reap the benefits of him being him, and I got...
it's you being you too, or else they wouldn't be here, right?
Okay, well. Should everyone drink 8 glasses of water a day?
No. Just drink, you want to drink enough so that you're not feeling thirsty throughout the day. If you're feeling thirsty, then you're not drinking enough continuously throughout the day. And that's going to change. It's going to depend on your activity levels. It's going to depend on if you're sick or not, if your body's trying to flush something out or not. You just listen to your body. You don't have to do another common one was like half your body weight in ounces of water.
It was a lot of math.
Yeah, it's crazy. Just listen to your body. Don't wait until you feel really thirsty to drink. Just drink, sip throughout the day. Much better.
So you've mentioned mucus twice now. So the mucus question is, if you have green snot, is that an indication of a bacterial infection?
That is. You got it right on. Green snot's bacteria, green and yellow. Clear is going to be viral. White is going to be yeast, fungus.
Okay. Moving on, breakfast. Is breakfast the most important meal of the day?
I think they're all important, but breakfast is pretty important because if you start your day out with a meal that's not going to spike your blood sugar levels, then you're less likely to ride the sugar roller coaster throughout the day.
Well, that's interesting because I don't eat breakfast. And
Okay.
I ride the sugar roller coaster every day.
Because you probably you don't need to eat breakfast, but at least by 10, 11 o'clock you need to eat because your blood sugar is just going to be too low and you're going to crave sugar. That could be a problem.
It is actually a problem. All right. Cracking your joints causes arthritis.
Like this.
Oh.
Jamie loves this.
Love it. That was how great I could do too.
In your fingers, and toes, no, but your spine, yes. And here's why. So you have in your vertebrae. So these joints are relying on one another. It's like a balance system. So say you have 2 vertebrae. They look like this, and they're supposed to move in pairs and together and slide properly. If they don't, then you're going to feel the urge to crack, say, your neck. Okay, so these two joints are locked up. Whenever you go to crack your neck, what happens is you're actually moving because it's not a specific movement. So with an adjustment, you're getting on a specific contact, a vertebrae, and then you're moving it, allowing that joint to move properly. Whenever you're cracking your neck, it's very, very generalized, and what's going to happen is you're going to move the joint above it and below it, but these two are going to stay locked. Okay? So whenever the one above it and below it stay locked, and the one above it and below it move, and the two together stay locked, and you keep doing that, these two become unstable, the top and the bottom.
Okay.
These two stay locked, and the less a joint moves, the less it's able to get nutrients and pump out toxins, and the more inflammation is produced there, and that's what causes arthritis, which is joint inflammation. So if something's not moving right, first what we do is we fix the muscle that's connected to the bone, because bones are the slaves of muscles. And then, if needed, we adjust. If it's really stuck, we'll adjust it to restore the movement, to allow toxins to pump out and nutrients to pump in, because joints don't have a lot of blood vessels around it. They rely on vacuum. So the more a joint moves, the more it's able to get the nutrients in that it needs to function.
So toes and fingers are okay.
Toes and fingers, yeah, because they don't rely on the other joints.
Okay.
Right? So it's not a balance system.
Okay. And there was the going gluten-free is good for you.
It's better for you than eating gluten. So the problem with gluten and why people are most really sensitive to it, and one is it's because there's a lot more of it in the wheat than there was in the past, because it's genetically modified. But two, gluten sucks up glyphosate, and glyphosate's Roundup. And what Roundup does is it makes your intestinal lining more permeable, so it allows things to pass through that shouldn't pass through into your bloodstream. And so when you eat that and you have unbroken down proteins from your food pass through the bloodstream, the body doesn't recognize them and it attacks them. And that's what creates all that inflammation and pain and food allergies and things like that. So genetically modified wheats are going to be sprayed with Roundup, and they're going to be very, very bad for your intestinal tract, and they're cancer causing as well. They're carcinogens. So that's the story about gluten. Grain-free is actually the best unless it's soaked, sprouted, or soured. And you want it in its most natural form, so GMO-free and organic, because it's not going to be sprayed as much.
I'm laughing because it's such a mouthful.
Yeah.
It's like all of it. It's just such a huge mouthful. You know.
I'm just trying to give you as much information as I can.
All right,
let's go to the next one.
My kids would love to know this one if it's false. Can coffee stunt your growth?
Won't stunt your growth, but it'll stress your adrenal glands, which are your stress hormone glands.
So decaf?
Better. Yeah, coffee's not. I mean, it's not really a big deal, but if you pair it with fat, so if you put some good oil or something in there, it's usually better, because it's not going to actually stress your body as much, and it'll release more ketones, which are fat energy in your body.
So I did have someone come in today, like, what is good fat?
Yeah.
So I guess I just want to address that because you said it.
Yeah, so fat coming from good animals, so good quality butters that are from pasture-raised animals, so cows in the pasture and eating grass. You also want, good oil like avocado oil, sesame seed oil. Those are good.
I mean, and you've put coconut oil in your coffee before.
Yeah, I like butter in mine.
Okay. Oh, carrots give you night vision.
They make your eyes work better because of vitamin A.
So it does?
I wouldn't say night vision. That would be awesome.
But it helps your...
But yeah, it helps.
Because he's a hunter.
It helps your vision, but it more so helps your liver, because vitamin A is very important for liver function.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Starve a fever, feed a cold.
Never heard of that, but feeding a cold or a fever, which would be so cold's bacteria and fever's going to be a virus. the best way to do that is to eat sugar, because that'll feed an infection. You can starve it, so whenever you go into a ketogenic state, so a lot of times whenever you're not hungry, your body goes into a fasting state, so you don't want to eat, because your immune system actually becomes smarter
when you don't eat.
That's one of the benefits of fasting, and our bodies are meant to fast for periods of time. It's how we're genetically made. So our bodies do better with less than more food.
And you do different fasts, like there's like, I mean, this is a hot topic right now because everyone's talking about the ketogenic diet.
Yeah.
So I mean, you'll do fasting, like just fasting a meal or fasting certain foods.
Yeah, it's a whole other topic. So there's intermittent fasting, which could be anywhere from like skipping a meal, or two. And there's also what I like. It's called the fasting mimicking diet. So what you do is you eat an avocado in the morning, an avocado at night for dinner, and then you also have with that a very good high quality green drink that's going to give you a lot of the vitamins and minerals. And throughout the day you're drinking water with a pinch of Celtic sea salt or Himalayan pink salt for the electrolytes that you need. And that one you don't feel like you're starving, and your body's in a deep ketogenic state. So whenever you're doing like a ketogenic diet, you're getting into ketosis kind of, but it's not the same benefits as fasting. Fasting will get you into a ketogenic state faster.
So we're out of time.
Oh.
I know. We're just getting into things.
Just getting fired up.
So we're out of time, but I did want to mention, as you're talking about the fasting stuff, and that just letting everyone know that him and Dr. Sarah really do implement that in their own lives. So it's not like you ask people to do these things and don't do them yourself.
Got to practice what you preach.
Yeah, it's really interesting actually, and it is cool too because like I said, I've seen it before where you were sick one time since I worked here. You'd have never known it, but it was cool because he just simply said, it's okay, it's going to go away because I'm not going to feed it. I mean, you just aren't, it's just I can't even comprehend just thinking, well, it's just going to go away because I'm not going to eat sugar to feed it, not a big deal.
Can't comprehend it.
It's so, I mean, I got to go to the doctors, I got to get an antibiotic, I've got to,
different.
You know, for me, it's like I got to do all these crazy things to...
But you saw it. It worked.
It did.
Yeah.
It totally did. So it's just amazing. I want to invite you guys to check out YouTube videos we have here, Integrative Health and Wellness, right on YouTube. That's where we put all of these go lives. Him and Dr. Sarah did a lot of different educational videos that are on there. She has a ton of awesome recipes for you guys. They're super easy. Her pita bread, it's like 3 ingredients.
Eat it every day.
It is fantastic. And she even made it one time with, it was like cinnamon and clove. I mean, it tasted like a dessert.
Yep.
It was absolutely amazing. So please, if you guys want more information, you're always welcome to check stuff out there. We always offer this free class. Like I said at the beginning of this video, here for you guys. Just give me a call. It's 724-205-6260 if you want me to save you a seat for that class. I feel like I'm forgetting something. We got it?
I think we got it.
So next week, we will have Dr. Sarah here with us. So please tune in there. If you guys have any questions, let us know. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.
Okay, see ya.
Bye.